before I ask all the members of the council to have input, I'd like to ask the city clerk to let Attorney Van Tran to be here because he is the chairperson of the Monument Foundation.
Why do we need Van Tran here?
Yes, because we are discussing about the event, and he happened to be like the chairperson of the foundation. Yes.
I don't know if that's really ethical.
I believe I have courtesy to invite him in. City Attorney, am I right?
Well, the mayor runs the meeting.
Yes.
You're saying that you want to have him speak because he's the chair of the group was in charge of the event at issue.
Right.
So is this to speak and to answer questions, I guess, or?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying, or?
So he make himself available to all the questions and concerns that members of the city council may have. Yes. That's all.
I don't think that's allowed, right? This is our council. He's not a member of the city council. He already make his public comment.
But
he can speak. He can speak.
The council could allow
anything.
What was that again? I'm sorry.
We could choose not to ask him anything.
Yeah, of course.
He cannot interrupt our meeting.
Of course.
Is that correct?
Of course.
He can listen. He can listen.
If we have a question,
anybody else.
If we have a question, we can bring him in.
I guess it's under discretion of the mayor. You have the authority.
Can you let him in, city clerk?
Well, I can unmute him.
All right.
But I don't know if
I feel very uncomfortable about that because I felt his speech earlier was, the tone of the speech. I feel uneasy to let him back in, but if he wants to say something, then say it before we begin. If you want to ask him something, then ask him, and then let it be done, and then let us begin without interruption, because I don't want to have this back and forth.
He already had his 5 minutes.
I don't know.
We don't want to break
our city attorney to tell me what the law says, but I really don't think he should be back to be having a conversation with us. If the mayor who's conducting, the meeting, and if the mayor wants to, it's his prerogative, I guess, if he's in the right to bring back the attorney Van Tran, then I think we should bring him back and ask your questions at the beginning. He could address us at the beginning, but then after that, I don't want to be back and forth with him, if you don't mind.
I agree. If the mayor has the mayor or anybody on the council, if you have a question for him, ask him. That's fine. But
you know what? He cannot be part of this meeting. Yeah. He's a member of the public. He can listen to our meeting. We can talk. He can listen. And I do not believe that he have the right to interject during our meeting. This is the city council meeting. He can listen.
Let me clarify. Let me just clarify. The mayor, in terms of operating the meeting, would have the right to bring him in. Let's say a majority vote of the council could override that, controls what happens if you disagree with what the mayor's doing.
Well, let me ask.
I would say before we exercise our majority votes, I don't know who's going to be voting for it, but I want to ask the mayor, out of respect to the mayor, is there something you want to ask Mr. Van Tran to speak about? And then you could do that. But I don't want to, like I said, I want a conversation with him. So
may I propose this? How about let's listen to this staff report first?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Okay, to see what we have in there, and then we'll talk about it.
Just listen to the report. If we have a question, then we'll ask him.
Okay. So I agree that we got to hear the staff report, and then I'm going to bring him in so he could, answer some of the questions and concerns that some of us may have. All right, staff report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. It is a brief report. This is about the event that took place at Sid Goldstein Freedom Park on Sunday, June 6th. I noted the content that I had, and it's included in that staff report. If you have any questions of me, please feel free to ask. I had very little details, which was provided in that staff report. Do you have any specific questions for me?
Could you read your staff report, please?
I can, absolutely. At the meeting held on June 9th, 2021, Councilmember THEO asked for an item to be placed on the agenda regarding a groundbreaking event for Quang Tree Monument held on Sunday, June 6, 2021 at Sid Goldstein Freedom Park. Sid Goldstein Freedom Park has become a popular location for community organizations to host meaningful cultural events throughout the year. Prior to the pandemic, Community Services and Recreation Department was providing the mayor and council members with a monthly list of approved events at the park. However, in light of the pandemic, the department was not approving any park use requests since March 2020. But we had administratively approved 2 events, which took place at the mall, and City Council approved a special event permit to host a movie night at Bolsa Chica Park, which was postponed to October 17, 2020. In mid-April 2021, Mayor Ta contacted staff to see if there were any scheduled events at Sid Goldstein Freedom Park on Sunday, June 6, 2021. Staff informed him that the city was not formally permitting any events at the time due to the restrictions associated with the pandemic, but people were using the park informally. Staff informed him that a member of the Vietnamese community of Southern California had contacted a staff indicating that they had been meeting there informally with a small group of people at the park to conduct their monthly flag raising ceremony. On Friday, June 4th, staff received a phone call from Vice Mayor Charlie Nguyen requesting that the restrooms and kiosks be open and that the electricity be turned on at Sid Goldstein Freedom Park on Sunday, June 6, 2021. The interim public works director, Jake No, was contacted and informed him of his request, and the group agreed to pay the fees. An invoice was sent to Vice Mayor Charlie Nguyen on Monday, June 14th, in the amount of $150, and those fees have been paid. That is the length of the staff report.
All right, so this is the time to bring Attorney Tran in, please.
So you want him to make a public comment?
No, you know, if you don't ask, so he not going to answer. But if there is any question, you know, about the foundation, about anything that event, so he may answer. But if you know you don't have any question, so he wouldn't have to answer. That's fair.
Okay, so you're not gonna make any public comment right now?
No.
Okay, good.
So
if I may, I'm gonna have make a remark, and then I will give the floor to the rest of the council to make some comment. Okay. So you know, basically on June 9, can you hear me? On June 9, I received a lot of photographs of an event that happened at the Freedom Park where Mayor Chiza invites Mayor Charlie Nguyen were present. I did not know what it was. I tried to. People told me that they found those photos at on social media, and I went on my Facebook page and I couldn't find it. Apparently, the person who posted the photo, you know, didn't allow me to see it, so someone else had to send it to me. There are quite a few people at the park. So I asked to see if our city staff issue any permit for that particular event, and we're told that there's no permit. The event was not permitted because we're still in the pandemic. And prior to that, I have received a lot of email, phone call complaining about event has taken place during the pandemic at the Freedom Park. And there was people complaining, saying the city council only, allow our own group of people, friends and associates to conduct activity at the park. And I had to check with city staff who confirmed that absolutely there was no permit issue during the pandemic at the park. So I looked further into it, and apparently that was a groundbreaking for a ceremony for that for the Quan Tree monument, which the city council support last December. Let's bring back to that particular agenda item last year. That were presented to the city council, and I was under the impression that the project was supported and presented by a group of Republic of Vietnam veterans, and who are the organizer of this particular project, and that's why I supported it. But then lately, I've learned that the project was organized by Mayor Chita and Vice Mayor Chief Charlie Nguyen, who are the two of the many people on the organizer board directors. So I feel that there's a conflict of interest in there. You cannot be an organizer for a particular project, bring it to city council, and make your casting your own votes. That's a huge issue with conflict of interest. And that event on June 9, myself, council member Carlo Manzo, and Councilwoman Kimberly Ho was not invited. We didn't know anything about it. And I have received a lot of complaint about the project. There's a lot of issues were raised in the past few weeks, and that was the reason why I asked to place this item on the agenda for discussion in the city council.
All right, so may I have a few questions for Attorney Van Tran? Can you let him in, please?
I don't think there was any question. I just had a couple of comments.
Okay, please. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, this was before my time. I wasn't on council when this came about. So I was just learning this in the last couple of weeks about the controversy about this. And the last couple of weeks, I've been getting a lot of phone calls from Vietnam veterans explaining to me the situation and how the history, how this monument, how they didn't really have a say, or they weren't included in the conversation about this monument. And honestly, I find that very disturbing. I kind of find that kind of really disrespectful. So, and their concern wasn't the monument itself. It was the process. It was the process that they went about. And then learning the history of the Freedom Park, the placement of the monument. All the veterans that contacted me, none of them were against the monument itself. They were really against the location and the process. And like I said, I'm just learning about this, and we can't. And then the other issue is that here we go again with the perception of something wrong. With the Councilmember Doe just mentioned about Vice Mayor and the mayor being on the board of directors, and then voting on this item to approve it. And then there we are again, another issue where the bad perception about something unethical, and that's here we are, like we talked about before, putting ourselves in a situation like that. And that's what people's concerns are. And every time, whenever you put yourself out there, you create a situation like that, it's just natural that people are going to speak up against it. People are going to get upset, and you just can't get upset that people are getting upset. And I think we need to you need to understand where people are coming from, and listen to what the community is saying. So I'm just learning about this issue. This was before my time. I didn't vote on this item. I'm just getting these phone calls from everybody and trying to understand what they're and to be honest, a couple of the veterans that called me, it was really difficult to have a conversation with them, because a couple of them got really emotional with me, and it was really hard for me to listen to them, and I started getting emotional. I couldn't help but get emotional myself, because I mean, these are people who served our country and sacrificed a lot for not only our country, but for the South Vietnamese people. And they really got emotional on me, and I couldn't help it but get emotional myself. And it got hard. It was really hard for me to listen to them. And it's an ugly, it's kind of a bad deal, bad situation. And this is something I'm just learning myself, and it's just not good. It's not something that we should be having in our community. And I don't know, so we need to do something to make this right. So,
Mr. Mayor, can I speak?
Please.
First, I would like to address Councilmember Menzo. I heard twice that you said that you didn't vote on this item. I believe the item is voted on December 9th, which I think in 2020, I think that you already on board, and I believe that you voted for that. And if you don't think, I mean, you are entitled to say that, but the record so shall. So I'd like to ask for the city clerk.
You think I would know? Sergio Contreras was in that meeting, and I took over towards the end of the meeting.
Okay, all right. Then.
And I were re-sworn in at the end of the meeting.
Okay. And according to from what Mr. Councilmember Doe said, we have our own group. He said that our own group, which is from the city, I assume. I don't know that that the staff already mentioned that there was an event before us, before that event, before the groundbreaking event, on the same day. Actually, it's just an hour before that, at the same place. I don't know that you know about it. So it's not for our own group. That is false statement. Secondly, you said that this event organized by the mayor and the vice mayor, and that's false again. I don't know where you heard that from, but this is from the foundation. I will ask the attorney about it, okay? Thirdly, you said that this is conflict of interest. And I can tell you that at the time that I vote for this one, I don't even know, I don't even know it ahead of time. When it's brought up, and I know that this is an event, it's a good event, so I vote along with all of the council members. And I was then a member of the organization until late of April. That when they invited me to join the organization, the foundation. And, they asked me publicly, on air. And they asked me if I could lend a hand on this project. And to me, this is a good project. It's a project that we should, every one of us should honor. Then that's why I joined and I accept the invitation. That was late in April timeframe. And if you follow, the media, it's all over the place, that I joined, that when I joined the organizations. So another thing is conflict of interest. What is conflict of interest? Only if you engage in a project that have contract with the city or have a financial interest in it, that is conflict of interest. There is no financial interest in this organization here, in my joining to this organization. So I can tell you that there is no conflict of interest of any kind. So, now I want to go ahead and ask, I don't know that, Christine, have you invited Attorney Van Tran in yet? Did you hear what what I just said?
Yeah, so Van Tran is in the meeting. He's an attendee right now. He's also has speaking ability to unmute himself if the council would like to address questions to him.
I don't have
so from what I just said, I would like to ask the Attorney Van Tran to confirm whether what I just said is true or not.
Before Van Tran, Mr. Van Tran speaks, Vice Mayor, the issue is not, you're always, this is what I'm speaking about right here. You're always going to have a situation where you're going to try to get the technicality about what you're speaking about, conflict of interest. You can sit there and get into the debate about the legality and all the technical data. But what I'm speaking about is the perception. And I'm sure that everybody on the city council has taken the ethics training before. And in the ethics training, it talks about perception, okay? And in the public's eye, they don't care about the technicality about conflict of interest. What they see is what they see. And what they see is two members of the city council on this board, and then they see two city council members voting on this item. They don't know about the technicality that you're speaking of. It's all about the perception that the public sees. Okay, they're not going to get into the little details about the technical issues about conflict of interest, if it's legal or not legal. It's about perception, and that's what I was speaking to earlier. We set the example as city leaders that does the public trust us? Do the public trust us to do the public's work? Do they? If we conduct ourselves in this manner, do they trust us? We have to look at it. Every day in my life, I look in the mirror and say, am I a good person? Can my children respect me? As a father, I did an interview the other day, and they asked me, about being a father. And the hardest part that they asked me is about a father. And I believe this really strongly is fatherhood.
I don't know why you go off.
Father is not automatic. You have to earn it. And as city leaders, the same, we have to earn it. We have to earn it. And we have to earn the respect and the respect of and the trust. We have to earn the respect and the trust of our residents. Are we earning it? Are we doing it? And issues like this, I don't think so. And just to answer you, I asked, is there any chance that our city clerk has that information of that December 9th meeting? Just to answer your question about if I voted.
Well, I don't think that we need to. Okay, if that's the case, then I might be wrong. Remember wrong, because I know that December 9th you're on board already. So my assumption is that. But if on December 9th, council member Contreras still there, then be it. I don't have to challenge with you on that. Now let me say that from the perception standpoint, every one of us have perception, different perception. I don't argue with you. I don't argue with publics that they have that perception. But the thing that we do, if we think it's the right thing to do, then we should do it, regardless of the perception. We have to let them know that what they are thinking. And we have to be able to clarify it for them that this is the thing that it meant for us, it meant for every one of us to do. I am proud as a volunteer in the community, as an activist in the community for over 30 years. I am proud that I can lend a hand with the foundation for this historic monument, honoring the sacrifices and heroism of the Army Republic of Vietnam and U.S. military person in the victory of the Battle of Quang Tri. This is the same as all the projects in the community that I think is a good project, is a thing that a good cause. I lend my hand on it. I'm not afraid of people saying that, oh, he is everywhere, he's joining he do everything. Nobody's going to tell me that, hey, why you using your free time to do community works. I don't think people ask me that. In fact, they appreciate that I put more time, that I took the time of my family and do it. So I am not afraid to let the public know what I feel, as long as I join with the community to do a good cause project. As long as I don't engage in conflict of interest of my roles as a council member.
Can I speak? Yeah. So I think that Vice Mayor already explained, and I believe that there are no conflict of interest. Myself, Vice Mayor, the foundation, or the city, and I want a city attorney to confirm that there's no conflict of interest whatsoever. I also have a question for Attorney Van Tran. Mr. Tran, can you explain a little bit about that event and who got invited and who didn't get invited? Please, Attorney Van Tran.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Before you answer a question, sir, we already read your statement that you sent to us, so we understand all that stuff. You don't have to repeat yourself.
No, hold on. Well, thank you for letting me know before I even speak, Councilman Tai Do. I'm not going to repeat myself. You got the foundation's letter through my signature as chairman of the foundation at the direction of both the board of directors, which comprise of 12 members throughout the country, plus the board of advisors and sponsors as well. So you can check about the foundation, and I would like to invite, because I'm hearing that there is, and it's quite unfortunate, frankly, because this is such a good project and all of us ought to be working together, including all the council members, that council members Doe and Manzo do not have a lot of information on this. And I would like, on behalf of the board, extend an invitation. And as you know, I did in the letter that I sent to you, as well as council members Ho and Manzo, to come to the press conference for a full briefing. But we would love to have an opportunity to sit with the council to give you a full briefing over coffee or lunch or whatever that works. Because council member Manzo made a good point. I mean, he came on the board and he did not have a lot of information on this project, and he spoke with a lot of veterans, but he hasn't spoke with our foundation, which receives hundreds of other veterans who supported this project throughout, not only in the US, but throughout the world. And that was why we were able to raise funds so quickly and receive the support level that we did. There are a lot of issues and questions that I would love to have an opportunity on behalf of the foundation, along with other members. If you don't feel safe with me, sounds like you don't want to even let me in to talk, I'll be happy to invite other members of the board, local at least, because we have also Northern California board members.
Well, sir, you know what?
To come down and talk to you.
We're not our safety not at risk by having you involved in this meeting. You know, we have nothing to be worried about you, but you irrelevant in this meeting. We're talking about.
No, I understand that.
Wait just a second, sir. Just a second. You're not relevant in this meeting. With all respect,
well,
we're talking about you and your organization that operate an event without permit in the city of Westminster during the pandemic. And that is our concern right now.
Is that a question? Is that a question, or you want me to respond to that, or are you going to make an allegation?
I think that would be a question. So I think that you're more than welcome to respond.
Well, okay, well, let's hear your question on that.
Say what?
I mean, let's
are you asking me a question, or are you
you're
want me to
operating
ask
an event, a groundbreaking event in our city, in the park, without permits?
First of all, yes, I'm glad you asked that. First of all, the staff was contacted and no permit was required. Okay, if we're going to be required with a permit, we will get one, but obviously one was not required, and therefore we did not.
What is the
one.
condition?
Secondly, let me finish, if I may, since you asked. Let me finish my answer, and then you can say whatever you want. Secondly, the official event was very brief. And I already explained this in my letter to you. It was within 75 minutes. It's more spiritual, and it was kept within 100 people. And only those folks who are involved with the foundation or with the groundbreaking were there. None of the elected officials were invited, other than the 2 members of the council who happens to be board members. And they were board members after the foundation was created. So
you're saying it's just only less than 100? So you're saying less than 100?
During the official program.
Okay.
During the official program. Obviously, that was the goal. Okay. It's an open facility. Obviously, the site was open and people come and go. And the event was no more than 75 minutes. That was our goal. So you cannot blame the foundation for not getting the permit. That's unfair. And that's wrong.
Yeah. Let me bring this up. You know, I listened to somebody.
So you talk about the foundation.
Just a second, sir. Just a second. Some member of the community forwarded me a recording, a YouTube video of a Vietnamese YouTuber up in San Jose area, Nghe Lu, something like that. and he I think it was interview somebody. I think I heard your voice in that program too, but he indicated more than 200 people show up. It's contradict to what you were just saying.
I
Less
don't
than
know
100
which-
people. Just a second, sir.
Cái buổi lễ động thổ đã được tiến hành vào trong mùa dịch. Mặc dù có cái thông báo của Ủy ban xây dựng tượng đài rằng trong mùa dịch cho nên hạn chế người tham dự, nhưng chúng tôi rất là xúc động thưa quý vị, gần 200 con người đã có mặt trong buổi lễ động thổ đó.
Hey,
Dạ.
I'm glad, Mr. Doe. I'm
Just a
glad
second,
you
sir.
played
Let me
that.
finish.
I'm glad you played that tape. You know what?
Hello, can I
I'm glad
speak?
you played that tape. First of
Just a
all,
second. We're not going to debate, sir.
well,
We're
I'm
not
glad
gonna
you
debate.
played
I'm
that,
just- I'm glad
that
you-
tape because it's going to be okay during the program itself. There's less than 200.
Hey, you know what? This is turning into an argument. I really think that that's done. We're done with Mr. Van Tran. I think he could be.
Goodbye, Mr. Van Trang. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Invitation
am I
still
going to
stands.
speak? Yes, thank you.
Have that. This
Yeah,
is a city council meeting. It's not a Jerry Springer show.
okay. May I ask Diana Daubert to come up and answer some questions?
Okay.
If you could appear. Thank you.
I'm here.
So we were talking about, this is a whole debate on whether or not we need a permit for such an event as the Guangxi Monument groundbreaking ceremony. Okay, so I'm going to, before I ask you some questions regarding you know, whether there's what you said to them, to the foundation, or we're going to shed light on that in a little bit. But I want to say that, you know, this is a public event. Okay. We gave our permit, shall I say, back in, well, yes, we mentioned, everybody mentioned December 9th. We approved unanimously to grant the foundation. I don't know if it's a permit or what, okay? But we're not going to talk about it. I don't want to misspoke, okay? So I want to mention that the foundation basically on the 9th of June had a private party on our public land. So, you know, not only is that rude, you know, we gave this is supposed to be a public, basically this is to I'm like so upset right now because, you know, I do believe that our public deserves an apology. I mean, okay, don't even think about me. Don't think about the rest of the council who were not there. Okay. We were not invited. Yes. I didn't know anything about it. Worse than that, this was happening in my district. And I had no clue when somebody asked me, what is that loud music? I said, I don't know. And somebody said, did you forget? Well, my family member, we went to City Hall to pick up my council notebook. And my family member said, well, what is that loud music? And then it came from Freedom Park. Did you forget an event? And so it was very possible, I thought. So I was frantic and I said, I don't think I have any events. So there's an event going on in my district I knew nothing about. How embarrassing. My constituents were not invited. The public at large, the citizens of the city of Westminster, I'm not talking about just the Vietnamese, okay? The general public, everyone deserves an invitation. So why is it that this was exclusive to the donors, okay, and to 2 council members, and then you had your private party at your home? And then I thought, when I saw the picture of you and your wife cutting the cake, I thought, oh, they're having an anniversary. And then when I zoom in to look at the cake, it was a commemoration of the groundbreaking day or ceremony, you know, and so it was privatized. So I thought it was so unfair. I really think our public deserves an apology from the foundation. Okay, so being that this agenda, we're talking about the party, okay, this party that we were all not invited to, okay, except for the 200 people. I want to shed light on that night, that day, or maybe in April when the mayor contacted, where is she? Diana Dauber. Diana, you were contacted.
I'm here.
And did you say to anybody that they did not need anybody from the foundation, or that includes the 2 council members, mayor and council member G. Charlie, that they did not need a permit? Did they contact you?
I was never asked about a permit. Yeah, I was never asked about a permit. I was asked if there were any other events scheduled at the park on June 6th, sorry. Yes.
And what did you say?
So what did I say? Well, first I had to look at the calendar to see what that looked like. And we had been informed that the Vietnamese community of Southern California had been out there doing their monthly flag raising ceremonies, which consisted of 15 to 20 people. And although we weren't permitting because of COVID and related to the pandemic, people were still allowed to use our parks. So
okay, when you say people, when you say people, or were you in the tune of 200 people? I mean, the flag raising people prior to that event.
No.
How many would you say they had?
No.
When I asked you, I believe you said about 20.
About 20 for the flag raising, correct?
Yes. So they had 20, and this group had 200. And so, okay, so could you define for me, when would you need a permit and when you wouldn't need a permit? That way everybody is on the same page. And if we could just remind our council members, when would you need a permit and when would you not need a permit?
Well, typically anything over 100 people, which includes amplified sound, and with the impact to our parks, would require a special event permit.
Okay. So
have there been events at our parks with
amplified sound? So the flag raising people with 20 people, and they've been doing this since you mentioned to me 2004, correct? Did they have
since the park was
sound?
built, they've been doing it.
Did they have amplified sound?
Yes. Well, they use a personal sound system where if people are allowed to play a radio. Yes, battery operated.
Battery operated. That's very different than electrically operated, right? Amplified sound. So what about if you don't have a permit, are you allowed to have, usually is the restroom open?
No, we weren't opening park restrooms.
So you wouldn't have electricity, no restroom and no electricity, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
So whereas this particular party, they had 200 people, they had amplified sound, they had the restroom. Who opened the restroom? Who turned on the electricity? That is public money. Okay? And the public was not invited. How can that be fair? So who turned on electricity? Did you ask for a permit?
It was requested by Vice Mayor Nguyen to open the restrooms and to turn the electricity on and to make sure the kiosk was open. And I've accommodated requests in the past, so that wasn't typically a unreasonable request.
Did you feel?
However,
pressure? Did you feel some pressure? Did you feel pressure?
No,
coming because the question or the,
I wouldn't say it's pressure.
the request came from a council
Yeah, I
member? Was there some pressure to perform, some pressure to open the restroom and turn on the electricity when you knew you weren't supposed to? Did you feel
I was
something?
accommodating a request of a council member. I mean, I would try to do that for each and every council member if I could.
I never asked you. I never asked you to turn on the electricity at Freedom Park or open the restroom. I'm going to have 200 friends over. I never asked you to do that. So, okay, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently in the future? I don't want you to be pressured and turn around and sue our city.
Well, in the future, I mean, it was apparent that all the council was not involved in the event, thus the reason why we billed them for the requests that they asked for.
But did you know that all the members, all the city members were not involved in the event, were not invited? Did you know?
No, I did not know that.
Were you under the
did not know
assumption
that.
that we were? That it's a city hosted event? Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know, for this agenda, all I want to say is that, you know, the foundation owes the public an apology. I don't need an apology. I know this is, you know, really, really, I mean, this is unacceptable, okay? To carry on a private party on public land and the electricity is paid for by our taxpayers and, you know, the restroom, the people, the employees are all public employees. That's not acceptable. And, you know, so I don't know what else to say except, okay, I want to move forward. You know, I want to bring this up. I want to, you know, make my comments. And this really leads to an agenda request. I'm going to agendize something, but let's just finish item 5.4 first.
Yeah, so can I have a saying? I think that I listened to all the council member, and now I think I'd like to respond.
I have something to say before. Can
I speak? I think that I respect all the members of the city council. I think this is the time that I would like to speak.
I was speaking before you did, Mayor. Just quick question, real quick, to Diana Daubert. Real quick, Diana, can a member of the public make that same request that Vice Mayor Charlie Nguyen did, as far as opening the bathrooms and turning the electricity on?
There's a process that the public could request that through.
No, but would you have turned it on, like turned it the way that you did, the same way?
If it was possible and if the appropriate elements were, I mean, in the past, has there been a special event permit that's been approved that the applicant did not request electricity? That has happened. So I did receive a call. We did accommodate that request. But that's not the typical way requests happen. Did I answer your question?
Yeah,
good enough?
Yeah, I just think the council members should go to the same, should have the same, go through the same route as a member of the public for something like this. All right, thank you. Go ahead, Mayor, sorry.
All right. I want to speak out for the record. The event was not more than 100 people. I mean, like the reporter, he could say whatever he want, but it was not more than 100 people. And I think there is no conflict of interest, and the foundation already pay for all the costs. And also, I don't believe that the foundation owe any apology to anyone. I think that we all received a letter from Mr. Van Tran. He submitted a letter to explain the circumstance. And I think that the foundation, you know, they want to give a council an update. So I don't believe foundation owe public any apology.
I'd like to add to that. You know, I've been addressed the misunderstanding or whatever the allegation from Councilmember Doe. And now I'd like to respond directly to Councilmember Ho. First of all, Mr. Councilmember Doe said that, 200 people, you play the tape. Unfortunately, I don't have the tape here, but every time that I announce even on the newspaper and on the media that I came up, it's never 100 people at any one time. Okay, now you heard it from one of many media's reporting, and you said that you believe that it's 200 people. Were you there counting the people? Were you there to make a certain assumption that it was 200 people? That's number one. Now, as far as for the event before us, who said that it's 20 people? I can assure you, and I can show you the picture, that at least 30 or 40 or 50 people there. Okay? If you want me to approve that, I will. But there's no need for that. You can ask those people who have that event on that day. Now, as far as the sound system, the same man who did the sound system for the groundbreaking event did the sound system for that event. Were you there? I was there. I saw that. If you want to, you can talk to Mr. KêNH to see if he's the one who provides the sound system for both groups. Okay. As far as the reserve, I just don't know. I just think that there is an event. We even on our on the foundation announcement, you heard that from the tape that you played. The foundation is only because of the pandemic. We don't want to invite anyone else besides those are involved. So that's why you see that it's publicly announced that because of the pandemic. Now, the call that I placed to that I had with Diana Norbert, it's just I never did this before at the any event at the Freedom Park. So when I know that if the event is less than 100 people, there is no permit required. I asked if we can have the electricity turned on. Yes, I did. But the foundation, pay for it. It's not free. I am asking, and the price was given, and I said, go ahead and do it. The foundation agreed to pay for it. We are not taking advantage of anything. So, as far as the loud music, you know that already. The same man provide at 2 events. The other event go before the groundbreaking event. They used the sound system provided by the same man. So if you were not there, I don't have any issues that you making your assumptions. But the fact is still the fact. I am giving you all the facts.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
I did not hear their event because their event may not have been loud, but I'm sure I know that you asked if you could move that guy up, his event up, and you refused. So maybe your guy, as a matter of fact, I'm sure your guy installed the amplified sound in the morning. And so I'm sure it was there, and I'm sure it was made available. But the thing is that normally they've been doing this since 2004 with no electricity, no restrooms.
I
I like
don't
to
know.
speak for the record that I also want to speak for record that respond to Councilmember Ho calling the event as a party. I'm sorry to say that it's not a party. That is an event, you know, that is a small event that a foundation, you know, we want to honor all the supporters. That's all. It's not a party.
May I say something? You know, it's we were not there. Yeah, you're right, Vice Mayor Nguyen. We were not there. We heard a lot about it. We heard Nghe Lu, he's a Vietnamese YouTuber up in San Jose. He's your major supporter, and he's also, I heard that he's also on your the Quan Monument Board Director, member of it. He say it's on the that YouTube channel that more than 200 people show up. Okay, which is based on what he's saying, and he's one of your board member, so there's no reason for him to lie. So I don't know who's lying.
Is that let's say that he said 200 people. Is that 200 people at any one time, or 200 people?
Well, you know what?
Did he say? Did he
you
say
know, where
that?
you go? Well, you know what the thing is, we don't know. Okay, we see photo and it look more than 100 people. Just a second, you know, and it's there's a lot of question looking at that particular event. I mean, you know, it's we go against the state health safety protocol that limited the large gathering in public, and the city implement that regulation that we do not issue any permit for any event at that Freedom Park. And yet, even though the city council approved that project, the groundbreaking was I don't understand, was in such a hurry to be happen in during the pandemic. And none of the city council, I mean, you know, except you and the mayor Chisa were the only one there. The rest of the city council was not informed. I mean, you have an opportunity to ask for a permit, but you did not. But you're going to contact the city and ask them to, the city staff, and ask them to turn on the electricity, open the restroom, and do other stuff. You direct city staff to do things for you. I'm not sure that the city employee ever notified that to the city manager. I'm sure they have to, because city manager is a boss. I'm not sure the city manager was aware of that event. But you know, in light of this event, now was like we hear so many objections to this monument. There's a lot of new detail coming out. That the conflict of interest. You were part of the organizer. You and the mayor were part of the organizer, and then you put it on the agenda and you voted for it, and without disclosing information to this majority city council. Okay, now we have none of the veteran group in this area, immediate area, Orange County, support that project. Okay, some individual, all right, and only the majority of supporters are from the northern California, from San Jose. Okay, none of the South veteran group support this project, and I don't understand. You know why this is an event that should uniting the community, but yes, it's creating such a division at the scale that I could not believe. Okay, you know, you're talking about community activists. You're involved with the community. You serve the community. Well, do things that unite the community. Don't do anything that divide the community. We have enough of it already. Okay, so right now, there's so many people, and you know, I'm no exception. Just like Council Member Councilwoman Ho and Councilman Carlos Mansell. I got so many people who calling me, asking me to support it or against it. I don't know what I don't. You know, I'm just right in the middle right now. It's should we do things that united the community, or we should continue this division? I mean, you know, the city is surviving on the 1% sales tax, which is sunset in 2022. We are in dire need of financial. But yet we worry about all these little things where that this can, you know, the council should not be involved with this. The council should be focusing on, you know, getting additional funding for the city, because we might not get that sales tax continue after 2022. We don't know that. But we look at the city council, we just worry about building war monument. Yeah, we can support that, because that's community project. Well, we should not be actively involved in that. We should actively looking for source of money, do things that motivating the city to move forward, to generate revenue. We shouldn't spend hours talking about this. We should not. We need to stop.
If I may ask the attorney something.
I like to respond. I totally disagree whatever Councilmember Doe said. The foundation had been reached out many times with many different groups, and the foundation got a lot of support from many different organizations. And all the groups opposing the foundation that you mentioned, they are associated with the same group. Last year, they tried to recall myself and other 2 council members. And until now, I truly believe the foundation continue to do the reach out. Councilmember Doe, you're more than welcome to sit down with any board member if you wish to get more information, to get more education about the board. I think the board, they tried to reach out, but the issue, the other group, they didn't want it. So I mean, that's not an issue about the foundation. And I totally disagree with whatever you said. I'm not the one who wants to bring this up, but if you have a question, you need to go to talk to the board. I think the foundation, it can really open to any concerns, any question.
Okay, may I ask the city attorney some questions, please? City attorney, exactly what did we approve on December 9th relating to this monument? Did we approve a contract or a permit, or what did we approve, and could you explain?
Well, I did not handle that meeting. I did go back and look at the staff report from that. I did watch the video from it last week sometime. It was a little confusing. I think it could have been clearer. I've got it here. You've got the minutes. I heard Christine saying she has the minutes. What I saw in what is in the staff report in the video, from what I recollect, was that basically the mayor brought forward an item and asked for the council to approve it, which in a sense makes it a city project. There's no contract that was attached. There was no permit that was asked for. It was in a sense saying, City Council, would you authorize the installation of this monument in the park? And that this nonprofit would pay for it, and that there would be no city funds involved, and that city staff would coordinate with the nonprofit to make sure that the proper permits were obtained. But in a sense, and once it's installed, it becomes a city asset in the park. That's what I recollect.
Okay, so before we talk about installing and who's going to be who owns it or anything like that, I just want to know that when you say, so from my experience of other monuments, the contracts were given to the group, right? to the foundation, whatever foundation is in charge, correct? But this
you're talking about the other monuments, the ones.
Yes.
I don't believe the other monument have any.
So when the mayor brought this on as a city, so now it's a city project. It's a city project, correct? Are you sure of that?
It's not a
Well,
city project.
It's to be constructed by the nonprofit at the cost of the nonprofit, and then at the end, it doesn't say anything about. I think with the other monuments, I don't believe there was contracts between the city either on the other ones. I think it was all handled very much the same. We basically authorized it, and then they raised the money. They would install it. They would do contracts. The nonprofit would do a contract with the
nonprofit.
Probably ask Jake that question, but they would do a contract with the contractor to actually construct it and install it. And then once it was installed, we would take over the maintenance of it, which, I mean, it's our asset, it's our park. Jake, I think Jake's on.
Yeah, that's correct.
City project, who gets to build this monument, correct?
The foundation build a monument. This is not a city project.
Is this a city project, Christian?
We're authorizing a nonprofit to come in and build this monument on city land, and then in a sense donate it to the city once it's installed. I think that would probably be the best way to frame it. Is that correct, Jake, the way you would see it?
Yes. So like the previous monuments, that the private group or a committee that come in and coordinate with the contractor directly and make all the payments to the contractor directly. The city staff just assisting the group to go through the permitting process and all the city process and make sure that it's done properly. And for example, let's say they have to submit plan through the building. We will make sure that they follow through the process and get a building permit for it, and also get the encroachment permit from the public works to construct something in the public right away.
Okay, let me ask you then. So once we approve for the project to move forward, back in December for this particular monument, December 9th, are you saying that we're now sitting ducks, that they can do whatever, and then we'd have to, at what point could we cancel this contract, and when? What are some of the stipulations?
I think this is not on agenda. We have to be careful.
No, I just want to ask about the agenda. I mean, what we approved. You tell me if I need to agendize to talk about this.
Can we rescind it? Can we rescind it?
I want to understand the contract, what we signed.
Hold on. If the council want to continue to talk about that issue, we should not discuss in this meeting. That's all I want to say.
All right. So please go ahead and move along so we can agendize. I would like to approve. I would like to receive and file item number 5.4.
Well, before we make any decision on that or vote on that, I know it's gone by already, but I'd like to respond to Councilmember Do's accusations. Okay, he kind of lectured that the city needs to have concentration. We need to concentrate on go get the money, make them, get the money for the city, because that's what we need. Let me tell you, I did above and beyond that. It's not like you. I'm not only doing for the city, but I'm also doing it for the community. And let me tell you, I have not missed any council meeting in the duration of 3 years that I started with this council. How many you missed? Okay, you don't have to answer that. Now,
none.
You said you were not.
None.
Wait,
Zero.
I'm not finished. Come on.
Thank you.
Come on. We'll get it. Okay. Now, let me ask you. You said you're not there. I'm glad that you admit that you're not there. And if you're not there, let me tell you what happened. Don't accuse people. Okay. You said that I already explained to you that I did not join the foundation until late April and you still accuse that the two members are in the foundation and voted for the items. Once again, I make it clear to you that was not the case. Secondly, the June 6th event is happened during the yellow tier. And during that yellow tier, you can gather as long as it's not over 100 people. And from the city standpoint, if it's not over 100 people, we don't need a permit. Now, you also mentioned that why don't we get permit? But because at the time that the city is not ready to give out permit, that's wrong. In the staff report, please read the staff report, and also Diana already read it for us again. There are two special events that were approved. One is at Westminster Mall parking lot, and the other one is a movie night at Bolsa Park. But they were postponed until October 17, 2020, should be 2021. Now you read the staff report. Why you accuse people for the things that they don't do? Stop doing that, Council Member Doe. Read the staff report, get the fact, and share with the people.
Well, okay, you done? Let me respond to that. I talked to city staff when I have the veteran group complaining that our city do not issue permit for Freedom Park. And they're accusing us to issue permit to the Vietnamese veteran, not the American veteran. That's why I have to contact city staff to confirm. And they were told exactly there's no permit issue at that Freedom Park. So, you know what, do me a favor and do everybody a favor, stop yelling and accusing people like this, and it's just secretary. I mean, the foundation secretary, he say on the YouTube channel, they were so proud that during the pandemic, but 200 people show up at that park. I didn't make it up. I wasn't there. But just a second. We have enough of this. This is a circus. Yeah, this is a circus. Let's move on.
And let me tell you one more thing.
Okay.
From the Hoàng Sa monument, I was on board at the time. I approved the project. And while at that time, I know that it was at that time that Vice Mayor Ho and Mayor Trita was on board. Were you and me got invited to the groundbreaking event and the unveiling event? None. Both of the events.
Yes, you did.
I did not. I did not. Okay?
Yes, you were. You were there.
Not.
Yes, you were.
No, I was not. I did not get invited. Okay, wow. You prove it to me. All right. And were you invited, Mr.? Did you make anything out of that? Yes. You said it right. It shouldn't be a big deal. Just because you want to make it big deal.
We were not on the board of
and
directors.
we still have a lot of things to do. I agree with that. Then with these things, let's iron it out and let it go.
Well, as a council, we have the right to reprimand you and the mayor for conducting an event in the public park without permit as required by city ordinance.
Sir, one more time.
You guys have been at it.
The event is less than 100 people, and we make that in our announcement. And therefore, it's not a requirement to get a permit.
Okay, we just
file it. I made a motion. Could we move along? And
can I say something real quick in defense of the American Vietnam veterans? I want to ask you guys, since this is a such it's being sold to the public as this is this great event, and it's representative of all the Westminster residents. Was the American Vietnam veterans invited to participate in any of these events at all? Can somebody answer that question?
I'd like to respond that I'm really sure that our foundation will invite everyone, any association,
I'm not
when
talking
the time of unveiling of the monument.
I'm talking about up to this point.
What?
Up to this point, have they been invited to anything up to this point?
The foundation had been reaching out to all of the association. They been doing that, and they continue to do that, sir.
So they have.
Yes.
They're telling me they haven't.
You know, it's ridiculous. You know, I
too. They've been excluded to be at everything. They've been excluded for participating at this at all. So,
Eli, you want to raise some kind of question?
I'm asking.
You want to? No. Hold on. Let me finish. Okay, you asking? Yes, you more than welcome to ask. But you know, the person who willing to give you an answer is Mr. Van Trent. He's a chairperson, and you guys wouldn't allow him to answer. That's the issue.
If you the mayor and the vice mayor are board directors, you should know.
You should be able to. Yeah, totally.
That's why I tried to explain to you the foundation had been reaching out to all the association. The issue for, you know, all the association here, they want to sit in the board. I mean, like, we try to reaching out to them, the board head, the foundation had asking them to be member of advisor of the foundation.
You know what?
And I didn't want to accept it, but I mean, I don't want to discuss about that.
I agree. We need to
There's
vote.
already have a motion to receive a file of this item.
Discuss that. I'm gonna agendize something, please.
Let's vote.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's vote.
I still need a second. I have a motion.
Second.
Okay, sir. So that was
What's the motion? What's the motion again, please?
receive and file.
Oh, okay.
Stephen.
Yeah. So motion made by Councilmember Doe, or I'm sorry, Councilmember Ho, seconded by Councilmember Doe to receive and file. Okay. Roll call vote. Councilmember Doe.
Yes.
Councilmember Ho.
Yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
And Mayor Ta.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries 5-0.
All right. So we move to the next item. Item 5.5, resolution authorizing the annual display of the Pride flag in support of Pride LGBTQ month. City Clerk, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Required, yes. If you
I
have
don't have any report. 1, 2, 3, 4 report.
Good.
Okay, so for me, this past week, I've been, I think I've been speaking to the general public, a couple of groups, and I'm really not done speaking to everybody yet. Just as long as they want to speak to me, I will make time to schedule a time to meet with them. So what I want to do is put on the agenda. I'd like to add an item to next agenda, to discuss the status of this Quang Tri monument at Sid Goldstein Freedom Park, whether or not we should modify, we should delay, or we should terminate. Based on the comments we heard tonight, it appears, and then also comments that people have sent in, that maybe we proceeded too quickly to approve this agenda on December 9th. There are important groups in the city that probably should have been consulted concerning this monument before we move forward. We need to know more information about what exactly is being installed when and where it will be installed, who's paying for it, and what will be the message that is being conveyed. Do we need more community input on this? It's really important for us to get this right, and that we have all of the parties who have an interest in this event provide their input. So this is what I want to agendize for next time to discuss.
I'll second it.
All right, we have the motion and second for Councilmember Ho request.
All right. So motion second, Councilmember Do,
Yes.
Councilmember Ho,
Yes.
Councilmember Monzo,
Yeah.
Vice Mayor Nguyen,
No.
Mayor Ta.
No.
Okay, motion carries 3-2 to add that to the agenda.
Okay. Anything else? Councilmember Ho?
Yes, I would like, I don't know if this is for a city attorney, and I guess, you know, my question earlier, I'm not sure if you would like to, should I agendize, or would you pull that contract or whatever it was we approved on December 9th and be prepared to speak about it, and just any and all contracts associated with it, and be just, if you could like do a deep dive and see if there's any, do we need to, for us to contract out a firm to build this monument, do we need to open it up for RFP, or do we contract the same people, same company? So this is just, do I need to agendize that, Christian, or could I just ask you to do some research and bring it back?
We can have that as part of that, the discussion.
Okay.
I think that's under the same item, really.
At the same item, yeah.
And yeah, that, and then also, you know, could you do some research and see if, being that we have a mayor and one council member on the board of directors, see if there's any violation, if that's cool, that's not cool, that's, you know, is that any of our business? Would you be ready to talk about that? I mean, I like to hear some official comments, because I don't think you said anything today.
I think
I didn't.
I think for that, I like the city attorney to answer for the record right now.
Yeah, I think when the issue first came up, I was concerned about it. I did do some research on it, and that's when I learned, one, you're dealing with a 501c3, and that's unique under the law, because when you look at the Political Reform Act, they specifically define, like, when you're a board member, when you look under the term, board member, or a business entity is the term, actually, they exclude nonprofits. So if you're a board member of a nonprofit, it doesn't count. Also, income, when you look under the definition of income, it says, income from a 501c3 doesn't count as income. When you look at 1090, which deals with contracts, there's an exception in there for members of a nonprofit 501c3, as long as they're non-compensated, and as long as it's disclosed in the record that they are members of that board, then they are exempt. So that's basically what I found. That's, you can call it technicalities or whatever, but that is what the law says.
Let's say they are able to sit on the board and there's no conflict of interest there. What about their right to vote for the agenda?
Yeah, so they were not on the board until sometime after. That's at least, I didn't verify.
Now that they're on the board and we've got an agenda, and I just agendize it for next time, how does that affect participation?
In this situation, I would say that they can actually, believe it or not, still participate, because it's common for council members to be on, again, non-compensated 501c3. So they cannot be compensated. They cannot It must be a 501c3, and they must disclose in the public record that they're a board member.
But
So that, in that sense, it's
I want
publicly.
you to also do some research and see, because it doesn't, to me, that's, I don't, I mean, I really think that there's, okay,
Can we talk about it next week?
Yeah, no, I just want you to do some research, and here's the thing, is that you're telling me that it's okay, but what I know is that, let's say, I know that they applied on the 1st of December. I don't know the exact date, but then, okay, so I could apply on the 1st of December, and then 7 days later, I'm going to say, hey, I get to be on the board because I applied for 501c3. Well, you know, there's no guarantee that you're going to get it. Okay. So if I want to get around that law, then that's what I would do. I would apply today, and then tomorrow I'm going to say, hey, I'm on a 501c3 board. It's a, you know, foundation is nonprofit. So I'd like you to look more into that and see, would that need to be approved? Would I have to be granted? You know, would I have to be granted the 501c3, or could I be pending? My foundation could be like pending.
Okay.
I just applied yesterday. Now tomorrow I'm going to join this and I'm going to be on the board and I have voting rights. It doesn't make sense to me that they would have laws like that allows you to go around it, and it's too blatant that, and people are going to, I don't think people are going to make laws like that. So if you could like look into that, that would be great for a discussion.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? I don't think so. That's it.